What is up? I am back for a second night in a row. Mostly I just wanted to let everybody know that I didn't have any major accidents this morning when I went to go surfing, because in my stream last night, someone called up and asked how many times I've been to the hospital because of my surfing. And I said that I hadn't had any major accidents, hadn't had to go to the hospital at all. And then I was like, oh crap, I think you're jinxing me, because the waves are supposed to be big today. And I was getting nervous about that. And I was like, somebody knock on some wood for me. And I wanted to let you all know that I was back and alive. And I made it. I survived. I actually did some pretty decent surfing today. It was really crowded out there. Waves were pretty big. Unfortunately, something happened last night's stream, my very first ever solo stream, probably because I was doing it by myself. It disappeared from YouTube. But I wanted to come back and do another one because I had so much fun talking to everybody. Steve is here, of course. I don't know if he's in frame right now. I don't know if I'm in frame right now, but we're gonna sit here and talk to some people. So let me kill the music and see who we got on the phone lines on this first ever Saturday night call-in show. Hey, who's this? Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hey, who's this?
this is Noah.
Noah, what's going on tonight?
Nothing. I had a question about the unboxing videos.
Sure, go ahead.
Like how long does it take to make one of the videos?
It takes a really long time because I was talking to someone about this last night. I don't think people realize how much time goes into them because they just kind of fly, especially the shorts. You see it in 59 seconds and the long ones are maybe 5 minutes long, but it's really difficult to figure out what the heck that stuff is. And I take a lot of guesses, just trying to figure out what it is. And when you can't see something and you have no context whatsoever, it's pretty difficult. So I start each video by holding it up to the camera in any number of ways, trying to show that part of the box to the audience. And then the editor will use the correct one or an incorrect one if it's funnier. And then I just kind of sit there for maybe 10 to 15 minutes on each item trying to guess what it is. And then it gets edited together in a relatively quick piece, but it's a lot of time to film those things.
Oh, and I had one more question.
Sure.
What's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, I'm going to have to say, and it's kind of a generic answer, but just because my best buddy ever was kind of named after him, I would say Superman. Although I guess it's more like Super Dog. My best friend and guide dog. And I've got a video coming about him in maybe about a week, a new video about him. And I never really intended to go down this superhero road with naming him. We just met that guy. He showed up at my house and he was zooming around. I met him at my home. Someone brought him over and he was just flying around. He was really strong and really energetic. And someone's like, he's a super dog. And I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good name for him. And then I developed an affinity for Superman. Although I'd say over the years, I've enjoyed the Batman movies a lot more than the Superman movies.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the call. No, I appreciate it. We are here on Saturday night, letting everybody know that I survived my morning of surfing this morning. And I'm here with Steve. I hear Skylar clicking, here she is. You can hear her little collar. We leave a little collar on her that makes some noise so I don't step on her too much. And Steve was sitting in my lap for most of the night last night. We'll see if he makes another appearance on the show, but we'll go to the calls right now. Who is this?
Hey, this is Rex.
You say Rex?
Rex from Texas.
Rex from Texas. Sorry, I got some police sirens going on behind me here. I couldn't really hear you for a second. What's happening in Texas tonight?
Oh, nothing much. Just trying to relax. I got to stay for a couple of tests. I got this upcoming next week.
Oh yeah, are you in school or for something else?
For school, yeah, from 5th college degree.
Cool.
It's a lot of work, but I have 2 questions.
Sure.
The first one is, how do you deal with the stuff that you get in the packages that you shouldn't, like when you had the powder in one of the packages or something, that just get edited out, or?
Yeah, that one was, and I still don't know what to make of that one. And I didn't bring it to like a crime lab or anything. Honestly, in my heart, if people didn't see the one that Rex is talking about, I got this little envelope and there was like a handwritten note in it. And it was like, here's my sweet tarts that I made at home. And, Banana described the writing to me. She said it looked like a little kid. And there were some sweet tarts that were kind of in the shape of maybe Christmas trees or something, but they'd been smashed in the mail because they just got sent regular mail. And Banana works during the day and I film these things during the day. And this is before I was having someone double check to make sure everything was safe. So that one I just kind of made, you can kind of tell if something is, if it's in good packaging, if it's like been sealed up before, if I'm popping the top of something, like I remember I got Vegemite in the mail and I popped that top and it went like, it sounded like it had never been opened before. That one just kind of creeped me out. It was just some like crushed up powder in an envelope. And so I just decided not to try that one. And even when she saw it, she's like, I don't think you should try this. But now, ever since the incident where I got the insanely hot freeze-dried ice cream sandwich, I do have someone check this stuff if I have any questions whatsoever, because the videos are getting more popular and there are some crazy people out there and I don't want to be in my studio and opening up, like something bad.
Okay.
I mean, I think most people have good intentions. I don't, because they, the crazy thing is if someone sent me like anthrax, it's not like I do these unboxings live. They'd never see it. They'd never know. I'd just be, dead and I wouldn't be doing any videos anymore. So if someone did send something horrible, I wouldn't encourage that behavior by posting the horrible thing. If something really bad came, we wouldn't acknowledge it. So I strongly discourage people from sending something bad if they think they're going to get a reaction out of it.
Okay. And then I have one favor, if you would not mind.
I can try.
I was wondering if you could just, so I can send it to my girlfriend, just say in your movie voice, hey, Brittany, Rex just wants to tell you he loves you or something.
Do I do it like all sexy? I feel weird talking sexy to your girlfriend.
I wouldn't say it.
Hey, Brittany. You don't want me to like seduce talk her, do you?
No,
all
just
right.
like your movie.
All right. Hey, Brittany, Rex really loves you. How's that?
That's great. I sincerely appreciate it, sir.
All right. Well, I hope it wins you some brownie points with the Brittany tonight. Thank you for the call. We are here. It is the Saturday Night Live call-in show. It's me, Pete Gustin, the Blind Surfer. I don't know what the camera is doing as usual. I just stuck it in front of me. Steve is over here, off to my left. Skylar, I can feel she's asleep over there. And we are talking to people about whatever they want to talk about. Who's this?
Hello.
Hey.
I am Hi. I've been watching your videos for about a year now. And I'd like to ask, how do you deal with all the hate comments saying you're not really blind and stuff like that?
I need to do better with not letting the comments get to me. I have befriended a small handful of other creators. Casey Neistat came out here and shot a video with me. Molly Burke came to my place. We did a video, and Anthony Ferraro did a video with me. He's a blind skater, and Molly, of course, is a blind creator. And they have all individually told me, like, don't look at the comments, don't look at the comments, don't look at the comments. And that would be the safe thing to do. The safe thing to do would be to not look at them, because sometimes there are some ones in there that can just kind of mess up your day. Like it really bothers me. Like I would say it actually really gets under my skin when people say you're not blind, you're just faking. And especially when they say like you're faking to make money, because I make $0 on YouTube. I've lost boatloads of money making these videos over the years. And I do it for the community and for my own mental health and to help out other people. So I really have come at this with this like true intention of sharing what's actually going on in my life. And then when people say I'm faking, it kind of drives me nuts. And I used to get into it with people in the comments and kind of go back at them. And I made a decision. It was my New Year's resolution this year, 2024, January 1st. I was like, I can't let the comments get to me anymore. But it's a fine line, because I want to engage and be available in the comments. Like, I love the community that this channel has built. There's a lot of people that I chat with every day, from Zen Moon Master to Brian Murphy and Joni Hunt. And there's people that I look forward to their comments every day. And so I want to be in there and I want to talk to them. But the way that I have to listen to the comments is I tap on it and it reads it out to me. So if I get one of those ones or someone's just like, "You're faking," like it gets to me, but I'm working on trying to not let it get to me as much.
Okay.
It is hard though. It's hard. No, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. And I actually talk to people about this, especially younger people that want to do YouTube and they want to get into it. I'm like, you got to realize that you're really putting yourself in the public eye, and you're putting yourself out there and you're opening yourself up for criticism, and people are going to say things to you that you don't want. I feel fortunate that I've come to this and I've come to a level of popularity a little bit older in my life. Like, I can deal with those comments better. I can't imagine being like a popular 15-year-old streamer and having people like hating on me. Like, that would be really tough. I don't know how I'd deal with that. Hey, who's this?
Hey, this is Steve, man. How you doing?
Steve. My Steve just ran away finally. Finally gave me a break and decided to stop poking me in the side.
Yo, dude, I'm the guy who sent you a lot of, like, crazy stuff in the mail.
Oh, have you?
And, yeah, I called you the other day.
You did? I forgot. Let's not tell everybody that how to find my phone number. But you got my studio phone number. I was getting ready to. What was I doing? I think I was doing something for HBO or the NFL. I forget. And I was just waiting for the producer or director to call. And I'm like, "Studio Pete," and you're like, "Hey, it's Steve." I'm like, "Huh?"
Well, that's cool. I didn't want to, like, I knew you were in a rush. I just, like, let it go quick. But, yo, man, I love you. I swear, I've been diagnosed with, like, with some sort of, like, problems with my eyes. I can't see forward, but I can see peripheral,
Yep.
And I get a lot of, "Oh, you're not blind." Yeah, because and it's a joke around where I live, "Oh, you're not really blind." "Yeah, you can't see. Yeah, you can really see me." And I take it as a joke, man. I really do,
That's the right attitude. No, and this is a perfect follow-up to the last, like I have to understand these comments, especially on my channel, it's just a hit and run. Someone's like, "You're not blind," and then they move on. It's not like they're like going to write a dissertation about how I'm a fake blind. Like, they just write it and then they move on, and I need to let it go. And same thing with you. I was talking to a girl last night, one of the first calls. She was talking about, like, how do you explain your blindness to people? And I say, in the most simple terms possible, because there's so many levels of blindness, and I could sit here all day and talk to you about the floaters that are crossing through my eyes, and how when it's light I get wavy lines and it makes me dizzy, and how when it's dark I get like residual. But it's really hard for people to understand that. So I just break it down to the most simple terms, and I say I see light and I say dark. Like, the way I'm doing this show, outside of all the buttons that are in front of me, Steve is going to knock something over tonight. The dog, not you. I actually have a really bright light that's just out of the shot of the camera that goes off when the phone starts ringing. And so I see nothing as I'm looking forward. I'm looking at the camera, I see nothing. And then when I see a big bright light in my right eye, then I know someone's calling, and that's how I've worked with it. But that's good that you're able to, this dog, he is going to knock some stuff over tonight, that you've been able to let it roll off your back. You really don't let it get to you?
Oh, man, I don't. You know something? It's sort of like I have, well, in the beginning, because it's only about 4 years, in the beginning people say, "Oh, you should take these pills and you should see a better doctor." And,
right.
And you got to massage your head and you got to put your the cold compresses on your, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
What's wrong? What's the name of your condition? I forgot the name.
Right.
Or what's the name? I don't know the name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just leave me alone.
Yeah. I love the people that come at you and they're like, have you thought about seeing a doctor about it? And you're like, no, I love walking around not being able to see. I didn't consider it.
How many times I get that? Oh Oh my God, it's so funny.
You know that they
It is
have
so
devices for that, or Mr. Beast cured blindness. You're like, oh my God, like trust me.
Yeah.
If there was a cure, you know, I hate to say, because I know that my channel brings a lot of hope and inspiration and positivity to people, but I do put in the comments, I will put it in, and I'll admit it now. The thing I want most in life is to get my eyesight back. Now, I'm making the most of my life. I think I am. I feel like I'm living as much as I can with my eyesight having been taken from me, but I do want it back. So when people are like, hey, have you thought about trying to get it back? I'm like, yeah, man, like a lot.
It's so funny. Like, oh, did you see a doctor that's the one that gets me a lot. And what about glasses?
Yeah.
What are glasses?
Have you tried glasses?
Yeah,
there we go.
I got glasses. No, what are those?
I got some glasses on now. So the dark that I see in front of me is darker, and the next call will be slightly less bright. And that's all. The glasses prevent headaches. And that's the only thing that glasses can do for me. There's no prescription glasses that I can put on that can help me see. Steve, I do want to say thanks again. You sent me, I remember, I'd mentioned like in one video, once, that my favorite candy bar is whatchamacallits. And you sent me like, it was like 36 whatchamacallits.
Dude, I sent you a hoodie, like a reflective hoodie.
Did the editor put that in? Because that was they didn't, because that one, unfortunately, I broke the zipper immediately. That thing was really, so we actually, I'm surprised they didn't put that one in because, see, I didn't know, I knew it was a hoodie, but I didn't know it was reflective. So I didn't have anything like clever or interesting to say about it. I kind of remember the discussion with the editor about that. But a funny thing about it, so, I ended up letting Josh wear that for a while, and for the life of him, he couldn't say reflective, and he kept calling it the reflexive hoodie. So we make a joke now, like, where's the reflexive hoodie?
I got one more. If you do one more video, if you promise me 2 more unboxing videos, I got the next one is going to be the best one, and you're going to love it.
All right.
It's not. Don't worry about me. I got money up there. I got money. Don't worry about me.
Okay, I do.
I'm good.
I do feel weird asking people, you know, to put out their money to send something, and then again, it's not. You know, I do my best to try and make a clever comment, try and make it entertaining, and then when I can't make something work, and then it doesn't make it into the video, I feel really bad.
Don't worry. It's all from the heart. But don't worry about it. You make. I have 3. I subscribe to 3 YouTubers, and you're one of them.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Well, I like you so much, I named my dog after you. So thanks, Steve.
Take it easy, bro.
All right, have a good night. This is the live Saturday night show. What time do we start this at? I should have.
8:31 p.m.
It's 8:31 right now. So I'll go till about 9:30, try and get through as many calls as possible before Steve the dog knocks over the cameras or the microphones or something. Skylar's over here, right? And she right next to me? Yeah, she's there. She's being cool. We'll see if we can get through another hour of phone calls, talking to everybody before Steve knocks everything over, and then I can take them out and have some fun and get their energy out, which I should have done ahead of time. Anyway, who's this? Who am I talking to?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
My name is Justin. I'm from Indiana.
Cool. What's going on tonight?
Nothing much.
Just wanted to say hey.
Yeah, I have a few questions for you.
Fire away.
Okay, so I was in last night's show. I got into the queue, but you ended it before I could talk.
Oh, I felt bad. I felt there were a couple people that contacted me afterwards. I'm sorry.
Fine.
Okay.
You're fine. I managed to talk to you tonight. So, when you could see, what was the best thing you saw?
Oh man, that's a hard question. Sometimes people ask me questions I don't have an answer to. The best thing that I saw, I don't know if I saw like an amazing thing, but I'll tell you the thing that I miss about seeing, and this is when people ask me like, what would I like to see again? And there's nothing in particular, but just the ease of being able to look at something like you get. So, here's a good example. So there's a seeing, what app is it? I forget. ChatGPT. We took a picture and then there was a video, and it was a picture of Josh holding a surfboard in a wetsuit, standing on a road near a car with the beach behind him. And ChatGPT described that image to me in a lot of detail, and it took a lot of time. It said there's a man with long blonde hair standing in front of you. He's wearing
I
a
think
wetsuit.
I remember a video of you talking about that.
Yeah, and it went on for about 30 or 40 seconds. It actually went on for about a minute and a half. We cut it down to like 30 or 40 seconds, and it was all this information. You know, there's gray skies, and there's palm trees in the background, and there's ocean behind him. And then I realized that if I had my eyesight, I would be able to just look at that image and get all of that information instantaneously. So now whenever I'm out with anybody and there's something interesting like a fun mural, or it's just a really pretty scene, and I'm thankful to Banana that will describe that to me, but she'll take a minute describing a scene to me that I used to just be able to see in like an instant. And I miss that ability to just be able to take in so much information by myself. I very much miss that.
Yeah, in about a week, I'm 14. I just got on my fall break.
Yep.
My fall break is two weeks long.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
In about a week, we're gonna go to South Dakota and Rapid City and see Mount Rushmore.
Oh, cool.
And like the Black Hills and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I've never been there before, so it'll be nice.
That's one of the things. I took a couple cross country trips with my cousin Mike when I was 17, and I still had a fair amount of eyesight back then. I had to get back to school, and he went to Mount Rushmore without me. But before that, we went to Vail, Colorado, and I did some mountain biking in Vail, which was super fun. Because I used to mountain bike when I could see it a little better. It was still mildly dangerous because I didn't see great, but I was willing to take on that risk at the time. And I will tell you, one of the cooler things that we saw on the trip is we forded the Snake River, and we hiked into Yellowstone, and we actually hiked up the back way to see Old Faithful. We got to see Old Faithful, the spring, the geyser. Whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I did. We got to go to, where were we? I think Wyoming or something. We saw some buffaloes on the plain, and I did a fair amount of traveling around the country. I used to travel a lot with him for sailing, and I saw a lot, but I never got to Rushmore.
Well, you gotta see all you can while you still have the sight.
Yeah, I didn't know how much I was going to lose. I didn't know when I was going to lose it, and I delayed a little bit. There are some things that I wished I saw that I didn't, but I can't dwell on that too much.
Yeah. Did you have any pets before Superdog?
I had I had two cats. I've been working from home kind of 50% of the time, and I was living by myself, and I just wanted some like life in the house, just like something besides me. Yeah, a little company, like something to take care of, something to have some responsibility for. I got a cat. His name was Kaz. He was an orange tabby cat. And then I started going to work more, and so I got him a friend, and his name was Tut. He was like a fat gray cat. So I got those two guys to kind of keep each other company, keep me a little company. Then I started working from home full time. This is 2012. I was working from home full time, and one of the cats, I'd moved to the suburbs of Boston. I was living in this giant house all by myself, and the cats were like never around. It was a 4,500 square foot house, and I never saw the cats. One of the cats, I forget which one it was, walked into my studio, and I was just kind of having I was having like a lonely day. I was like, oh, thanks for coming in and saying hi, buddy. He got like halfway into the room. I literally thanked him, and he turned around and walked away. I was like, I'm getting a dog. And I did. I started looking for a dog the next day. I was so pissed that he wouldn't hang out with me. I ended up getting Superdog. There's a couple of breeds that get the same nickname, but they call the Doberman the Velcro dog because they stick by your side. And so I had Superdog for 10 years, 3 months, 2 days. I only ever spent a grand total of 10 days away from him. And that's when I vacationed from Boston to Carlsbad, which is where I live now. And I left him at home with the house sitter. But for 10 years, 3 months, and 2 days, minus 10 days, we spent every day together.
Yeah. When I was about, I think, 2, in 2013, our old family dog had passed away. She was like 13 or so.
Yep.
And then we went and we got a German Shepherd. Her birthday's in May. I think it's like in the middle of May.
Yep.
She's 10 this year.
Yep.
And then probably about like 2019, 2020, we got a hound lab mix from like a shelter, and that's our pets. My sister had birds for a bit. They were named Lincoln Zelda.
Lincoln Zelda. That was the bird had a first and middle name.
No, she had two birds.
Oh, okay.
And they were named Lincoln Zelda. They've passed away, and we've had a ton of fish, all dead.
That happens.
Yeah. We've never gotten a cat because my mom and sister are allergic. So, but a few years back, we had neighbors. We had like people on our street, and they had like a cat that just roamed around. So whenever we saw him, we gave him some pets. And on Halloween, they went all out with the decorations around their house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was a neighborhood cat. Everybody got to hang out with the cat. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a fish for maybe 10 seconds. I was in college. It was my first dorm freshman year, and I got a fish tank, and I went to the pet store with my roommate Randy, and we got a little miniature shark. He said it was a shark. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. It definitely looked like a shark. It was like this big. It was a teeny little shark. Maybe smaller. Maybe it was like that big. So we put it in the tank, and it immediately jumped out. And it just so happened that at the moment the thing jumped out, my foot was up, and I ended up stepping down, and I ended up stepping on the shark. It was just the worst timing ever. It was in the water, out of the water, under my foot. And so I had a pet shark for all of like 5 seconds. And that was my first experience with a pet when I was living on my own. It did not go well. Happy Saturday night. Who's this?
Hello, this is Garrett.
Garrett, what's going on? You sure? It sounds like you're coming up with a fake name there for me.
No, sorry, I was just switching the phone app.
So a little behind the scenes here, because I am kind of working this thing out by myself. I'm putting people on hold, and they're getting a little message saying that they're coming up next. Does that give you a fair amount of time to stop the stream and get back to me? Is that working?
No, it does not give you time. Like, you were on the call, and then I paused that, went to the phone app, and then I didn't know if I was muted or not on there, and yeah, that was what was happening.
Okay.
It immediately drops in.
Okay, I'll try and give people a little more time between calls. Thank you for helping me troubleshoot here, because usually I do these with Banana and Brooks. Last night and tonight I'm doing them all by myself, and so I appreciate the feedback and the help.
Yep, no problem. I was actually a caller last night, and yeah, maybe I'll be a regular on here. I don't know if you do this often, but there was a little bit of dog talk, so I actually had a couple things I was going to talk to you about, so I will skip the dog talk for this, but I had a second thing that had come up whenever people were talking about your unboxing videos.
Sure.
And about how you talked about items where they weren't good enough and your reactions weren't good enough, and the producers were like, oh, we need to cut this out.
Yep.
I just had an idea. Maybe you could do videos where, hey, these reactions weren't good enough, but hey, this is what this item is. Or, I mean, actually, I don't even know if that would be entertaining or not, but
I feel like I have so much like guilt and care for the audience. I don't want people like going through all the trouble of sending stuff and not getting any reaction out of it. But I do remember the zip up hoodie that Steve sent, and I think everybody's heart is in the right place, and they really want me to figure stuff out. But the thing that was cool about that zip up hoodie was that it was reflective, but there was no way that I would have known that. So I put it on. I'm like, hoodie or zip up hoodie. I'm like, it fits. Thanks. And I was just kind of like perplexed. And, you know, the way YouTube is, unfortunately, you got to keep people's attention all the time. It's not like you plunk down, you watch a TV show and you're in it for the 30 minutes or the hour. Like, we need to keep it moving. So me being completely lost about an item, unless I'm lost in a funny way, those do get edited out from time to time. And then I like think about it for like a month. I'm like, oh, I wish I could have done better on that item. I do feel guilty, but that's not a bad idea. Maybe it's something I'm completely stumped on. At the very end, we could be like, this is what this is. That's good thinking. I like that.
or you could do like a whole nother video. I don't know if it would be entertaining. Like, I mean, depending on the item, I mean, even then, like, I don't know. I mean, if there's items that it would be entertaining to show that, you know, you didn't guess, you know, I mean, you could make a series about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you called with that idea tonight because, and it hasn't happened a lot. I'd say out of the, I don't know, maybe I've gotten 40 or 50 things. I think I've only been stumped like 3 or 4 times total, but those things just stick with me because I understand. And, you know, sometimes people just send something from Amazon, which is they spent their hard-earned money on me. And sometimes they're packaged up and it's sent to me. And, you know, I know that they bought the item. They went to the UPS store or the post office and they took all the trouble to mail it to me. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. And then I feel really bad because I know how much trouble they went through. I want people to get value out of sending stuff to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now, the other thing I was going to talk about is dog talk. Is, I know that you have a GSP, and my parents, they have a GSP. I have friends with GSPs, and I remember, I don't know, I think it was quite a while ago, you mentioned you were talking about training Steve to be a seeing eye dog, and I was just wondering how that was going because from my experience with GSPs, my parents have one, and like they are just the cutest and sweetest and most lovable dogs ever. But, and this may not be all GSPs, but they're not necessarily the brightest, or I don't know. It may just be my GSP and those GSPs, but how is training with Steve going, or is that something that you're working on?
He is, I will say this about him. He is the happiest dog. He is so, no one could see Steve and not think that he's happy. His tail is, you know, I'm told it's always going a million miles an hour. He's always happy to see everybody. He plays with his sister, who's just off my right shoulder. She's still there? Yeah, she's there. They play all the time. And I'm told that, you know, we worked with a trainer and I've done a lot of research about GSPs. The story as to why I got him is a little long. Maybe I can get into it another time, but we got him. And his intelligence, just because of his breeding, he's a good hunter. He's a good tracker. There's a field behind my house right now, and we go there every night, and he tracks down game. He chases bunnies, and he's like really good at it, and he's really fast. I actually ended up, it was in an emotional state. I'd lost Superdog. We got him, and someone was like, "You'll never train him to be a service dog." And ignorantly, I remember it was Janine Teresi. It was a commenter, and I was like, "You don't know what you're talking about. We're going to make this work." And months later, I had to admit that she was right. I have heard that GSPs are often used by police departments for tracking purposes, but asking him to walk a straight line, not pay attention to anything else, and just guide me has eluded him a little bit. And you could say, maybe I could do more training. Maybe I could work with him. But it wasn't working out great. It was a lot of effort for very little reward. And honestly, I'm just happy to have the friend. I'm happy to have him as company. He's a good boy. I just love his energy. And if it comes to the point that I need another guide dog, I'm probably going to have to work with one of those companies that trains the real ones. But right now, when I'm out in public, I've got Banana. When I'm surfing, I've got Nisha, Brooks, or Josh. And I'm not out on my own a lot, so I don't need one. So long way of saying he's kind of failed as a guide dog, but he's a great companion.
That's exact. I was wondering that, and I just didn't know if that was true of all GSPs, because when you said that, I was like, I didn't leave a comment or anything, but I was like, I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah, no, you were right.
Like my parents, they have one. He's the perfect companion, but like he's, you know, I don't know. He's wild.
Yeah. I mean, the short version of why we ended up is a really long, interesting story. I'll give the 20-second version. The place I got Superdog from also had GSPs, and I didn't even know it at the time. And Banana and we weren't ready to bring another Doberman into the house. I just thought it would be too much for me to be looking at another Doberman that wasn't Superdog. And by looking at, you know what I mean, having him around, I thought that would be very hard for me to have a Doberman that was not the buddy that I gotten to know. But the place where we got him from had GSPs, and I was like, that's okay. Maybe that's kind of a sign. Maybe that should be the next dog that we look at. And yeah, I mean, he is what he is, and he's an amazing. Just I love him. I love him to pieces. It was hard at first. I love him to pieces, but can he take me straight down a sidewalk? Not really. He's always, he sees something or smells something and wants to veer off the sidewalk every 5 seconds. So I do not trust him when I'm out by myself. I'll tell you, the little one over here, Skylar, she's a Malshi, half Maltese, half Shih Tzu. When I need guiding, when I need someone to keep me straight on a sidewalk, or when we're in the woods, I put the harness on her and she leads me dead straight. And I swear to you, it's because she was Superdog's sister. She knew him from the time she was born until she was like 3 or 3.5. And I think that she learned a little something because she's a good little guide dog.
Yep. I recently fostered a dog. Well, actually, now I have adopted her. And anybody who is thinking about getting a pet, definitely foster a dog. It's free. You can try it out, see how it works for you, and you'll probably end up with a pet.
Yeah.
No, I feel like she was a guide dog in a previous life. She, a dog, you think they'd want to walk in the grass and stuff, but she just like goes on the sidewalk. And I did have one other thing before I got off the phone with you here.
Sure.
I did call the other night, and I talked to you about those NFC tags.
Yep. Oh, you sent, was your, I think I picked up your package at the UPS store today. Did you send another one?
Yeah, there was 2 of them, and like one thing, those both may be videos that like, those may not work in the video.
Okay.
I don't know. They're kind of weird, obscure things. So if they don't make it in the video, no problem. I understand.
Okay, I got Anisha, and after we went surfing today, we went right to the UPS store and picked up. There was one package there for us, so I'm assuming that was yours.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there's 2 different ones. I didn't get a notification on the second one, but like I don't know why they took so long. Usually Amazon delivers stuff in like 2 days. I don't know why it took like a month.
Well,
but,
go ahead.
One last thing. I know you probably have plenty of callers, and I've taken up a bunch of time here. I did try to reach out to you about the link tree with the NFC tag stuff, and neither of those items had to do with that. That was just like a third thing I was going to send.
Oh, I did see.
Like
for
those
some,
are completely separate.
Yeah, you said you're having trouble with my link tree. If you go to, it's just I don't want to say like my email address in a comment or online.
I get it.
But my voice acting website is PeteGustin.com. So if anybody wants to check out my voice acting reel or something there, you can go to PeteGustin.com. And between me, you, and anybody else who's paying attention, close your ears for a second, there's a contact tab on that. So you can find me that way.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the phone call. This is the Saturday Night Live call-in show. Is that trademarked? Can I not say Saturday Night Live? Maybe not. It's the Saturday Night call-in show. I'm a little bummed out. Something happened. I'm sure I did it. I was trying to run all the equipment all by myself, so I can't see it, so I'm going to screw something up. So the show we did last night did get deleted off of YouTube. It was my first ever late night show, and I deleted it. But I wanted to come back tonight and do another one. So who's this?
The Saturday Night call-in show.
Uh-oh, I hear me in the background. Mute me. Mute me.
Yeah.
Hey, who's this?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
Oh, it's Jamie from Georgia.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Good. Jamie, what's up this evening? It's very late over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like almost 12.
What's going on?
Anyway,
What's
I have
going
a
on?
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just chilling on my couch watching this. Anyway, I have a question. So,
Can you turn, I can hear our conversation in the background. Can you turn that down a little bit so we can focus on each other in real time?
Okay.
Cool.
What is the worst unboxing video you've had?
Worst unbox, probably and I don't think any of them are like bad. Like I try and have fun, but the one where I got the flaming hot freeze dried ice cream sandwich, which there was no indication that thing was going to be hot. Like it didn't smell hot. I put it in my mouth and I took like a couple bites and I'm like, oh, it tastes like an ice cream sandwich. And it just immediately, and it wasn't just hot. It wasn't like someone put like a chili pepper in there. They put a 7-pot primo pepper in there, which is like I think it was like the third It was like the top 5 hottest peppers in the world. And I'm not like, I don't like hot stuff. Like I don't like hot thing. If I go to a Thai restaurant, they're like 0 to 10. I'm like 1, give me the 1. So I ended up, and it was like, I'd taken like 3 or 4 bites. It was like chew, chew, chew. And it was all in my mouth. And immediately I felt like I was going to throw up. So I'm in the booth and by myself. It's the middle of the day. You know, I film these things in between voice acting jobs. And I got this crazy hot thing in my mouth. And I start like gag reflexing. It was so much. And then I go to run downstairs to try and find some milk. And I don't even drink milk. So I couldn't find it in the fridge. I ended up like drinking water. That made it worse. I tried to put some bread in my mouth. That wasn't really helping very much. And I'm drooling. I'm drooling because it's so hot. And I'm wiping the drool. And then at a certain part, I start to cry. And so then I wipe my eyes. And what I did is I put the 7-pot Primo pepper in my eyes. And my eyes are stinging. My mouth is burning. And I've got a voiceover session because I film these things, like I said, in between VO sessions. So I've got to start performing for whoever it was, some radio station, the NFL, NHL, whoever I was working for. And I'm looking at the clock, you know,
8:54 p.m.
listening to the clock. And I know I've got a job coming up in 7 minutes. And meanwhile, I'm crying, almost puking. My eyes are burning. And it did not go well. And that's when I decided that I wanted to have someone to double check to make sure everything was going to be safe. So that's probably my least favorite unboxing right there.
Well, all right. Good night. That's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry to hear that.
No, thank you for the call. Happy to talk to you. Good to hear from you. It's the Saturday Night Show, 760-517-6844. I think the phone number should be on the screen. I believe that's how everybody is figuring out. We are broadcasting tonight. I'm pretty sure everybody is watching on YouTube, but we're also on Twitch tonight. If I click the right button. I don't know if anybody is over there checking it out on Twitch. It's mostly me and you guys, the YouTube audience, but just trying to get some more people involved. So there are other places you can get it. Hey, who's this? Happy Saturday night.
Hello, my name's Axel, and I live in Minnesota.
Axel, I love that name. That's a very fantastic name.
And I had a few questions for you.
Fire away.
So I'm a freshman. I'm recently a freshman in high school, and I just wanted to ask you, what was your high school experience like, and what did you do to keep your grades up, hopefully?
I was, and I feel like it's just something that you're, I don't know, born with or raised with or something. I was always very diligent in getting my homework done. I had it in my head that once school was over, I couldn't play with my friends, ride bikes, or do anything until I was finished with my homework. And even if, I had football practice after school, I used to play football when I could see, I would go home immediately before I lost motivation, before I got out of the school mode, and I did all my homework right after school. And then I would, watch TV, hang out with my friends, play video games again when I could see. But I always made sure to do everything right away. And it was important to me to get good grades. I didn't have any brothers or sisters. I was an only, but my 2 role models were my cousins that were 8 and 9 years older than me. And so when I was in 6th and 7th grade, one of them went to Harvard and the other one went to MIT. So it was there were high expectations for my family. So for me, I just kind of wanted to not be the failure of the family. I want to try and live up to the Harvard and MIT cousins. So I always worked hard, just as a matter of pride for myself.
And then for my second question, I always hear, I hope you're doing well and I hope you like what you're doing, but I want to become an engineer. What do you think are some steps that I could take to, accomplish that?
My cousin, the one that went to MIT, works as an engineer. He's actually up in Minnesota, and the company he works for developed some sort of instrumentation for heart surgery. And my college roommate, who I mentioned earlier, Randy, he was an engineer. I was in communications. He was in engineering. And I've always been in awe of engineers, like people that can just... He and some of his other engineering, Randy, my college roommate, and some other kids in the engineering program, they told me that when we were kids, we were the ones that got the remote control car for Christmas and then took it apart to see how it worked and then put it back together again, hopefully. Engineers, just they love knowing how things work and making things work and improving them. And, that was always because my vision was never very good, I was never great at taking things apart and understanding that stuff. But I've always been mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, even civil engineers. There's so many different fields of engineering that you can go into. I remember I went to MIT just with my cousin. I wasn't attending. I went to Boston University. But when I was a kid, I went to a class, and there was a materials science class. And their project was to come up with a new material that could be used in sneakers to be lighter, stronger, more resilient and bouncy, and just a new product to put in the sole of a sneaker. I'm like, that's cool. Like, that's really cool that these engineers are out there making better products, improving our lives, and creating all these neat things. Like, I love engineers. So, I mean, if that's something that you're into, just follow the math, science paths and go to a school that is known for it, and try and find which field of engineering you want to go into.
Mm.
Do you have
What's
any?
your
Is there a particular field of engineering that you think is interesting? Like, do you want to build bridges or make sneakers or design new flavors for cereals? Like, what makes you interested?
I was mostly thinking electric engineering or electrical engineering.
Yeah, I think I believe that's what he did computer. My roommate did computer engineering, but electrical engineering. I mean, that's there's a lot of great colleges for that. I mean, MIT, I think, being at the top of the list. What was your next question? Sorry.
What's your least favorite letter?
Least favorite letter?
Yep.
I don't know if I have a least favorite letter. I will say, so I do warm-up. It's a weird question. I can't believe I'm actually going to give you an answer to it. I do warm-ups every morning for voice acting, and for some reason, somewhere along the line, my vocal coach, who worked with my voice and articulation and my voice strengthening, wanted me to constantly repeat QX. So as part of my warm-ups in the morning, I say QX, 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 QX. I try and get as high as I can, and then come down QX, 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 Q. It's kind of hard, or was at a certain point, for me to string Q and X together. I'm pretty good at it now. Weird question. Hopefully that's an answer for it. I try and answer everything. Happy Saturday night. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Cameron. I'm from Oregon.
Cameron, what's going on tonight?
Not much, just hanging out and playing video games.
Cool.
I first wanted to let you know, like, I really appreciate your content, and I've been really depressed recently, and it's just been really helpful.
Is there something in your life that has triggered the depression, or have you kind of always felt a little this way? What's going on right now that's making you feel that way?
Recently, I've just kind of lost a few of my friends and like lost my job, and so I've kind of just been feeling like lonely and just bad about myself.
That's a lot all at once. What were you doing for work?
I was working at like a recycling processing plant where we would recycle like cans and bottles and stuff.
Can I ask a question about that? I mean, it's you obviously have something very important going on, but I've been dying to know this. When we do recycling here in California, I'm told that if you put something in the recycling can, if you do put bottles and cans in, but if you accidentally throw something in that isn't supposed to be recycled, just like trash, just regular old trash or like orange peels or something, that it messes up the entire batch, and they can't sift. They have to either sift through it or throw that section away. Is that true?
It can be, because it can contaminate the like product, and then they end up selling the product to like different companies, and that's how they make their money.
So if I do my best to put a bunch of recyclable stuff in there, but then screw up at one point and throw in like a bunch of old pizza crust, I've basically ruined the whole batch and might as well have not done it in the first place.
If it's just like on top, they'll probably see it, but if it's like inside of the can more, then it would probably be like more of an issue. That's
it. I don't know what made me. That's just been. I've never known who the heck I could ask. Someone told me that at one point. They're like, "Be really careful about what you recycle." I'm sorry. That was off topic. I'm glad to hear that the videos help. I mean, I've been through. You know, I was talking last night. I was saying how everybody has come to me. Everybody in the world has started watching these videos when I finally found myself in a pretty good place. but it took a long time to get there. Like I didn't start doing these videos until I was late 30s, and that was a lot of time for me to go through a lot of stuff, including a lot of depression. I mean, I can admit that. Like, yeah, I was highly depressed. I was losing my eyesight fast, way faster than I thought I was going to. And everybody around me, I didn't go to a school for the blind. I didn't surround myself with a lot of people that were going through the same thing. I felt very alone and isolated and depressed. And I found, for me, Cameron, I don't know. For me, when I was depressed, when I had a bunch of bad things going on in my life, I found a constructive hobby. I actually started my band, Penthouse J, my old band, when I was really lonely and when I was really upset that my vision loss was progressing. And I ended up writing 3 albums worth of music. And I found that when I was focused on I've always enjoyed creating. And when I was focused on something other than how upset I was, that it passed the time a little better. And I'd wake up every day kind of looking forward to writing some new music or some new lyrics or something to work on. And you give yourself something to look forward to. And eventually, hopefully you can kind of climb out of that depression a little bit. So I think staying busy and constructive is the best advice I could give. I hope you can find a way to do that.
I had a job interview today, and it went pretty well, so I'm hoping that will help with my feelings and everything going on.
Yeah, I mean, the job is having something to wake up for every day. Hugely important. That's good. You know what? I'm really proud that you're actually out there. It's good that you haven't gotten to the point where you just want to, stay in bed and not do something. I'm really excited to hear that you're out there looking for a job. That's great.
I kind of was at that point where I was struggling to even get out of bed or even apply for jobs, but I got to the point where I was running out of money and I just kind of kicked myself in the butt to go do it. But my second question was, how do you make friends as like an adult? Or like, I feel like I've just been struggling since getting out of high school.
I had that. It's funny how many experiences people have in common. I remember thinking after I got out of high school and I went to a high school. There was 180 kids in my graduating class. There were 800 people in the whole high school. It was a very small school and you basically knew everybody. And then I ended up at Boston University and it was massive, 25,000 people, 30,000 people. And you were lucky if you had the same class with someone twice. Like I was having a really hard time meeting people. And even later in life, when Banana and I moved out here to San Diego, we didn't know anybody. Like we moved all the way across the country from Boston to San Diego, and we had a really hard time meeting people. Now, most of my friends are people that I've met through the surfing community. I joined a surfing club, local club called Carlsbad Board Riders, and I met a couple people that way. Of course, I've been meeting people through the channel now, but I find that a great way to meet people is joining a club or doing an activity. I remember when I was living in the Boston area and my home was behind a shooting range, I would just go to the shooting range, and after I was done shooting, I'd just kind of have my breakfast or lunch in the lobby of the place by myself. And inevitably, because we had something to talk about. Hey, what were you shooting? What guns did you bring? Let me see your targets. And you make friends through common interests, I find.
That's fair. I feel like some of my hobbies are like rock climbing and fishing, and I've been kind of meeting people that way, but it's just kind of been tough to like say like, oh, let's keep hanging out, or like, let me get your number or something along those lines.
That is a little hard, but if you see the same people I met, I always used to go to gyms before I started working out of my house, and you see people enough. And I was the same way. I didn't want to be like the weird guy being like, hey, I want to go grab lunch sometime. But, you see the same people enough, you got something in common, and just throw it out there, especially if you really feel like you need those human connections. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is they're going to say no. But the best thing that can happen, I was trying to surf on my own, and I was really reluctant to admit that I needed help. And when I did, I ended up going to a surf shop and telling them that, I was losing my eyesight at a rapid rate. I was almost completely blind at the time. I needed some help. And the person that they recommended was Josh, who has become my best friend out here in California. And you know, because I actually finally just decided that I need to ask for help and wanted to start hanging out with somebody, I made a great friend out of it. So I would suggest if there's people that you see while you're out fishing or rock climbing, or if you go to a rock climbing gym, definitely, you know, try and make some connections, because connections make life a lot more enjoyable other than just kind of sitting around by yourself all the time.
Yeah. The last question I have for you is, have you ever talked to or thought about collaborating with any other like blind creators on YouTube?
I've done that. I have about 3 videos with Molly Burke. She's a blind creator at about 2 million subscribers on YouTube. She came out here, and one day I taught her how to skateboard. And then the next day I taught her how to surf. I say I taught her. I basically gave her one of my coaches, and my coach taught her, and we surfed together. So there's 2 long form videos of me and Molly Burke. And there's a short video of me and her in the booth talking about how people can never understand how blind people like she and I make eye contact. And then in another video, Anthony Ferraro came out here from New Jersey. He's a blind skater, and he was with Dan Mancina, a very talented skater from Michigan. And we did a handful of videos together. So I have met those 3. We've done videos, and if you want to check them out, they are available on YouTube.
Thank you. That's actually the creator I was thinking of, so thank you.
Anthony Ferraro?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. I've not been good with staying in touch. My job keeps me very busy and really on a schedule throughout the day. But I very much enjoyed him and his wife's visit out here. I learned a lot from him. Him and Dan Mancina kind of gave me the confidence that I needed to start. I met him, and he was using his cane, and I was just starting to try and get comfortable with using my cane. And knowing that this cool young skater guy, was using a mobility cane kind of gave me the confidence to start working with mine a little bit more. So I'm always appreciative for his visit out here. Happy Saturday night. You're on with Pete. Who's this?
Hey, Pete.
Hey, who's this?
This is the person you hung up on live stream a couple days ago.
Oh no. Did you get on? Were we talking and I hung up on you, or I screwed up entirely and hung up on you?
You screwed up entirely. You were the one that your friend next to you
Oh,
said about in the chat.
was that so? That was when Brooks was here.
Yeah.
Are you the one from Oklahoma?
No.
Okay, he hung up on someone from Oklahoma because he thought they said something inappropriate, and we found out later, like, oh, that was premature. Well, I'm sorry, Brooks and/or I nixed you that night. So, take 2. What's going on this evening?
Not much. I was about to head to bed until the audio said that I was up next. I was like, oh shit. Sorry, language. Sorry.
That's okay. Got you. We got you covered. What's going on though? Where are you calling from? You said already, didn't you?
Alabama.
Okay, so East Coast time. So it is. What time is it here?
Yeah.
9:11.
Right now it's 12:11 down here.
Yeah, you're already in Sunday. You're ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm way ahead of you, apparently. By what, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 hours.
Yep. All right, so what's going on?
Nothing much work, which is a pain in the butt.
You work weekends?
I work basically 6 days a week and only have 1 day off, which is a pain in the butt. And then I have a part-time job, which is basically YouTube, and I can't juggle 2 jobs at once.
It's hard. It is hard when you only have that 1 day off, because you want that 1 day to be a day where you relax, except you've been working for 6 days, so you have a ton of crap to do. So you end up doing all that crap that day, and the next thing you know, you're back at work the next day. You're like, damn it, I never got to relax.
I barely get to relax, but the days that I do have off, I have to go outside and do yard work, which is a pain in the butt. Sometimes I get my manager to call my mom, be like, hey, call my mom, tell her I need to be at work.
Just so you can have some time.
Yes, but actually going to work that day sometime, which is a plus. It means more money. So
yeah. I am actually taking because I know it's about to get really, really busy. I work with a lot of news outlets, a lot of organizations that cover the news. Yeah. So we got the election coming up. I also work for the NFL, and I work for the NHL, whose season has just started up. And I know that I'm going to have a jacked up another 2 or 3 months. And so I made the decision that I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm going to sleep in and I'm going to relax and I'm going to really, really, really enjoy it. Because every once in a while, you just need to do something for yourself.
I used to be able to sleep until 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Whoa.
I can't do that anymore.
That's-
I have to wake up at 8 o'clock now. That's my sleep schedule now.
Yeah.
After high school, after high school was over with, I just used to be able to sleep in all day. But now after I got a job, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. My mom used to walk up in the room and be like, hey, wake up, time to go to work. Like, leave me alone.
That is a hard thing when you're on a schedule and you wake up at a certain time. Even when you have a day off, you just like naturally wake up. You're like, okay, I'm up. Now what?
I was like, leave me alone 5 more minutes, please.
Yeah. I usually, if it's a rare day that I get to sleep in, what I do is I put in an audiobook. I always have something on Audible ready to go on my phone, and I'll throw something in. I'll put the noise canceling headphones on, and hopefully that'll help put me back to sleep. It's a rare treat because, like you, I'm usually up every single day working.
But the only times I can actually behave at work is when I make people laugh. That's just like a side job for me. I do weird things. I pretend to be gay, and that just makes them laugh for some reason. Or I'll be like walking up to them, strutting stuff. I'll be like, what? That just makes them laugh for no reason.
Well, that's good. Find a way to entertain everybody at work and keep yourself entertained at the same time. That is a better way to spend the work day than just kind of trudging through it and not enjoying it. That's admirable. Just having fun and making sure that you enjoy waking up and going to work every day. Thank you so much for the call. Glad I did not hang up on you accidentally this evening. I'm getting there's so much equipment in front of me, and these days everything is like flat screen. I don't know if any of this is in the shot, but there's a bunch of buttons that I specifically purchased for this purpose, so I can feel all the buttons. I know where my microphone is, where your levels are, where the hold buttons are, and I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I think we're getting through the calls pretty successfully tonight. It's Saturday night, and you're on with Pete. Who's this?
Saturday night. What's up, dog? It's Pete. What's up, Pete? It's Jeff, dog.
Dude, you don't know your name. You're so excited. You forgot your name. I'm Pete.
I don't even know my name anymore, bro. No, just calling to say what's up, dog.
What? Would you stay up late just to talk to me again tonight?
Always, brother, always. No, I'm just right now driving to drop some material off to somebody right now, and I'm going to head out to the coast and do a little stealth camping and stuff.
Oh, cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun just to get some little, just the air and stuff is nice by the coast, so that's why I choose it. But, yeah, no, I'm going to go check on my mom real quick, too, make sure she's good. She was getting in the shower real quick. She just had a stroke, so she's kicking butt right now. I told you she's blind, so she's over there. My little adopted sister, she's helping her shower and stuff right now, kicking butt and getting done with that. And so yeah, I'm just out here gonna do this, and just wanted to call in, bro. I was listening to your stories about just everything, everybody that's calling in, all the youngsters, all the youth that listens to you, and man, it looks like they look up to you a lot. So that's cool. Freaking, I'm just, that's it, bro. I'm just saying what's up, dog.
No, I appreciate it. And you're right. There's so many young people that call, and I don't know. It's something because I never really intended to do YouTube. I just kind of fell into it. And for some reason, I always thought I was talking to people of my own age. I don't know. I just figured people my age might be interested in me. We have something in common. But one day we sat down and we looked at the analytics, and it was like 28% of the people that are watching are between 13 and 18. And then there was like 45% of the people are between like 18 and 24. And I was like, oh, which is actually.
Hey, I hope I like you because like you're somebody for the kids to look up to. You're all around cool, bro. You're crazy, dude, but you're good for the youth to be looking at too. So I'm happy for that. I'm like, dang, I'm hearing everybody that's calling in. Like I said, they're all young. Like, dang, that's cool, man. Like, yeah, no, you're real cool, bro. That's dope, man. You gonna be doing some surfing in the wintertime or no?
Yeah, I complain about, I live in San Diego, and I should be a little tougher than I am. I spent so much time in my life in Boston and New York City where it actually gets cold. But I'll tell you, you wake up on a Saturday morning, and yes, it's San Diego, but you wake up in the morning, we're in the marine layer, so there's no sun out. It gets to the 40s around here. It actually can get to the high 30s sometimes, which I did not know about San Diego. But I'll wake up and it's like 46, right? And so what I've got to do now is I got to go down to, again, this is not, don't get me wrong, like it's still all enjoyable, but But so I'll wake up in the morning. We get up at 7. We're out the door as soon as we can be. There's no sun out. It's in the 40s. I'm stripping off all my clothes and changing into a wetsuit. And then
it's hard. It's hard.
And the first time the ocean hits you in the face, it's like, oh, good morning. Hello, I'm here.
Yeah, I jump in there. Yeah, I'm not a surfer. I don't surf, but like I said, I still camp over there, and so I see everybody. And I'm like, dude, y'all are crazy. Like, it doesn't matter, what time of the year it is out here. They're getting in there, and everybody's just happy. And I'm like, dude, they're all healthy. And I'm like, man, you get it, bro, too, bro. You get it. I'm like, dude, I want to start. I would like to get in there, but I'm scared of all that ocean stuff. Like, I'll jump in there. I won't go be like, past the breakwater and shit. I'm pretty wimpy about that, but that's why you got some strength, Pete. You got some strength, bro. Blind and everything. You're wild, bro. You're wild. I mean, with the eyesight that you have, like you say, and everything, like, man, you're wild, dude. You're wild.
Well, to bounce back to what you said about having the younger audience, I actually, and there's a video I got coming up where I'm going to be talking about this a little bit, but I grew up extremely isolated. I was diagnosed with this eyesight thing in the mid to late 80s, and there wasn't even an internet back then. There was no way to look up what I had or what it was going to do, and the world was smaller back then. There was your community, people that you specifically knew. There was no Instagram, YouTube connections or anything. So I spent most of my life being the only person with vision problems that I knew of. I met a couple of people at a couple appointments, but in my life, I was the only one. So I had nobody to talk to about it, no one to set an example, no one to show me the way. And that was hard. I figured it out, but I will say that there was a lot of difficult times and hard times and difficult years and a lot of emotions I went through. So I feel like that if I can tell my stories and show people, and not just visually impaired people, but anybody that's got something going on in their life, if I can show them.
They're listening to you, bro, because I hear them, man. Everybody's got damn problems. I got friends, too, and I talk to them, too, friends that their fathers have died at a young age and all kinds of things, and, just all kinds of things. And I see depression around me all the time, and I just try to pump it up. I try to pump it up, too, like you, man. Like, come on, like, because my mom, like I said, she had brain surgery. She went blind when I think she was 38 or something like that, completely blind, like, dude, and I'm sure people have seen a lot crazier things too. So that's why I'm like, when I was younger, I used to think like, like me, but, I think now, like, dang, man, my mom's the one that had to go through it. And then she looks at everybody else. Her dad was handicapped and paraplegic, so she took care of him too before she went blind. And so, yeah, dude, kudos, bro. Kudos. I'm glad you're going to be getting out there. Are you going to be doing some videos or what?
Yeah.
Surfing?
Yeah, I think we'll try and post a couple more surfing ones. Banana doesn't like coming down to the beach when it's cold in the weekend, so we don't get a lot of the on-beach camera work. But, Nisha and Brooks and Josh are out there with me. We do the on-water filming, and I'm always happy to share those stories with people. But I'm going to try and get through a few more calls. It's always fun to hear your energy. I love talking to you. Thank you so much for the call tonight.
Get it.
All right.
Get it, brother. Get it. Okay.
It is the Saturday night show. We have to 9:21. When did I say I was going to go to? Till like 9:30, I guess. I'm enjoying talking to everybody. I love doing this. I love being able to actually hear your guys and girls' voices. I know a lot of you are in the comments, and I try and interact there as much as I can. Hopefully I'm friendly when I do it, but to hear your voices and hear your stories and talk to you is an honor and a pleasure, and I hope that these platforms still keep feeding me to people as time goes on, because this is a lot of fun and rewarding for me. It's Saturday night. You're on with Pete. Who's this?
Hello, this is Casey from New Jersey.
Casey, what's going on in New Jersey? I lived in Hoboken for a very short period of time in my life.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I had friends down in Toms River that I used to go visit. I'd been living in Manhattan for a while and then just hopped over the river to Hoboken. I went to live in the Hudson Tea Building for a short period of time, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was a really cool place to live for a while.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
What's going on tonight?
Not much. It's just been hanging in there,
Anything? So it's already Sunday morning. Did you go out tonight, or do you stay in? You just hanging out?
Nah, I just stayed in. I cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, I did the same thing today. Banana's been away, so I with all my free time, I decided to clean the house. It was pretty exciting.
I know how that goes. Now, I do have one question revolving around one voice acting that you've done.
Sure, go ahead. It's a little tough to hear. You got the volume jacked up as much as it'll go, I think, but hopefully I can hear your question.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying my best not to wake up. I can't remember.
Okay. Understood.
Okay. So I remember seeing one commercial, and you were voicing Optimus Prime. Correct me if I'm wrong. You voiced Optimus Prime in one commercial. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct. It was one long 60 commercial, and then there was a series. There was a long series of about 10 or 12 short 10 and 15 second ones. But yes, that was me.
So this has me wondering, how did you feel that you were voicing the leader of the Autobots? Highly nervous, because I knew that people were going to be comparing me to Peter Cullen, being like, "You're not Peter Cullen." Like, he was not going to be available for that job. He was not. He decided he was not going to be available for that job. And I hate being the person that replaces the person. It's very difficult being the second, because you're always going to be compared. But I went through a really serious vetting process. The agency that was working on it had to approve me. The people from Hasbro had to approve me. There were a lot of people that had to listen to my voice and go, okay, this guy is going to be a good representation of the character Optimus Prime. And so at least going into the project, I knew that I had the support of everyone that was going to be directing and listening and helping me through the project, which was it was a big confidence booster. But still, knowing that after it was done, it was going to go out there to the world and everybody was going to go, "That's not the regular guy," was very stressful. But I felt like I did as good as I possibly could, and I think a lot of people liked it. I pretty much enjoyed it. But we all know, none of us can replace Peter Cullen, but we can all be a little bit of Optimus Prime.
Yes, it was really fun. Like, they had me listening to him. They gave me like 3 days of research, and Autobots roll out. Like, I was listening to the tone and where he was, what register he was using, and the intonation that he would use. I remember the first line of the first thing was, "Do not fear. I will tow your car." And in that line, I keyed in on, I felt like I just naturally hit the word I, which is just one letter. That one letter, I said, "I will tow your car." And I felt like the I was the most Peter Cullen sounding thing. So I would actually hit mute during the recording sessions. I'd say the next line was something like, "Where will we go next?" And I would literally go, "I. Where will we go next?" Like, I wanted to flow myself back into the read, and the word I, the letter I, was my cue to do that every time. So I was riding the buttons. I'd be like, mute, I, then unmute, next line. It was one of the little gimmicks I was using to get myself into that tone.
That is a very interesting process.
It was because I've never done that. I'd never done a pre-established character before. All the promos that I do, the movie trailers, the radio imaging, the commercials, they're like, "All right, Pete, give us your best Pete." And, I do 10,000 voiceovers a year. I've been doing it full time since 2012, 2013. So that, 100,000 voiceovers and more. And only once was I ever asked to be another character. It was tricky. It was tricky, but it definitely a highlight reel thing for me to do.
Must have really paid off, huh?
It was fun. It was a one-off job. They went and made another Transformers movie, and obviously I did not get asked to do that. But it was a fun thing. No, it was a fun thing to have on my demo reel. So I was really appreciative of the opportunity.
I see how it is.
Yeah. The Hollywood movies tend to go for the bigger Hollywood names. If the screen splashed Optimus Prime, played by Pete Gustin, people be like, "The YouTuber?" might not have the same box office draw, so whatever. But I enjoyed it.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the call, calling all the way from Sunday morning out there in Jersey. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me.
Yep. It is Saturday night. We're doing the live call-in show. I mean, I feel like I could go for as long as you guys want to talk, but eventually I'm going to have to get these doggies outside. Steve is asleep next to me right now. Thank God. He spent most of last night like nudging me in the side and climbing all over me. I'm going to have to get these guys outside for a little bit in a short while. But until then, taking some more calls. It's Saturday night. You're on live with Pete. Who's this?
This is Elijah from Utah.
Elijah from Utah. I feel like we've spoken before. Is that correct?
No, that is not correct. This is my first time.
All right. Well, good to have you this first time then. What's going on tonight?
Nothing much. I'm just on my computer.
What were you surfing before I popped up and invaded your screen?
I was mainly just watching just animations, which is what I like to watch.
That's cool. That's cool. And what do you want to talk about tonight?
I just have 3 minor questions.
Go ahead.
So the first one is, how many dogs or animals have you had through your life? Because I have 3 dogs, and one of them is blind too. So
really, was he blind when you got him or her, or did lose its vision later in life?
It lost its vision later in life because we actually got him when we were a puppy. He was actually one of our dog's puppies. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had 2 cats that I had younger in life. I started with one, got him a friend. Then I got Super Dog. Then we got Skylar, and then I got Steve. When I was younger, I was an only child, but I didn't have any pets until my dad got a cockatoo, and that thing was evil. It was a mean bird. It used to bite everybody, and it ripped my big toenail off one night while I was sleeping. It jumped up on my bed and bit my toenail off. I hated it. So, but after that, I've never had a bird ever since then. So 2 cats and 3 dogs in my entire life as an adult.
I actually also have a pretty mean bird too. She hates my dad.
Birds are mean. My bird loved, it was my dad's bird. It loved him, hated everybody else. It only liked one. It liked my dad and tortured everybody else. And because it was a cockatoo, the stupid thing talked, but it only knew how to swear. And I think it's because everybody used to swear at it because it was such a jerk bird. So after a while, it would swear at people. I'm like, oh my God, this bird can't get any worse.
Oh yeah, my bird also can swear, and like she also loves my mom. She hates my dad, so it's
that's funny. So what's the second question?
So the second question was, what was your worst / strangest voice acting job? Because I'm an aspiring voice actor, and I just want to, just be prepared.
It was actually one of the. I'm going to give you an interesting answer. This is something that people wouldn't know until you get to a certain level of voice acting. It was one of the best jobs I ever had, but it was the most stressful thing. So when you do things and it's not always the same, but most of the time when you do network television promos, so if you're working for ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, there's so many shows and there's so many promos that they will have you come on live. So you've got the producer and a director and an editor, and then you're on the line connected through Source Connect or an ISDN or something. And what they do, and I didn't know this, I wasn't prepared. They'll send you the script. They'll give you a few minutes to look at the script. Then you guys all connect. And what they do is they play the promo for you in real time. So it's, say it's a 30-second thing, and your line is like, tonight on Fox, and then you'll hear clips from the television show like, oh my God, what are we going to do? It's so dangerous out there. And then, it's the drama that everyone's talking about. And then there's another thing like, we got to get out of here. It's crazy. The critics are saying it's the greatest show on television. And so you have your lines that you have to say in real time, fit them into those little spots, and you have to do it perfect. You generally better do it the first take, because if they have to re-rack and do it 2, 3, 4 times, they're probably not going to call you back and have you do it anymore. So it's amazing to get the opportunity to do network television promos, but boy, is it hard. You have to nail every line. Not only do you have to get the inflection, tonality, and pronunciation, everything right, but you
it says right next to each line, say next to Tonight on Fox, 1.8 seconds. So you have to be like, Tonight on Fox. You can't be like, Tonight on Fox, because that's like 2.3. And you don't want to go Tonight on Fox, because that's like 1. So you have to get the timing, tonality, inflection, everything. You have to nail it once through. So it's pretty stressful. But it's good work.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm pretty nervous. I've never done this before.
That's okay. You had a follow up there. You got a third question.
Yes. And last one is have you ever tried any like physical forms of animation, specifically stop motion, because it's more tactile, for lack of a better word?
I haven't, but I will say that someone sent me a giant thing of silly putty one night, and I remember when I was a kid, I used to play with little silly putty eggs that were like this big, like size of like a regular egg. And then for a blind guy in boxing, I had this giant, I think it was like a pound or 3 pounds. I don't know, it was a lot. It was like a big, huge egg. And what I did is I made a face on it. The eyebrows, the eyeballs, nose, mouth, and I even put some ears on the side of it. And it was the first time I'd tried to do something like that since I'd lost that much eyesight. I used to work with clay a lot when I was in high school. I had a lot of sculptures that I made. So it wasn't, and I just made it and then I held it up to the camera. So I didn't turn it into any animation or anything, except I'll tell you that I laid it flat so that the face was facing up. And when I went to go grab it the next morning, because I thought I might want to get some B-roll of it, that the damn silly putty and Gravity had a fight, and Gravity won, and the whole face like melted flat down. I was like, oh, I hope I got the shot last night, because it's not there anymore. But I have not done any stop motion animation. I feel like it would be fun, but it'd also be extraordinarily time consuming. And this is, my job is voice acting. I'm doing that 8 to 12 hours a day every day. And I fit in YouTube in between the sessions. And I don't know if I could commit to a stop motion animation project at this point. I don't think people understand how time consuming it is to make your little guy walk across the screen can take 3 hours if you're going to try and do it right.
Yeah.
Well, Elijah, thank you for the call. I really appreciate it. We are at 9:35. So we're going over an hour. We're going a little bit over an hour. We are live tonight on YouTube. I am also on Twitch. I don't know if anybody is over there. Oh, I'm also super curious because I can't interact in the comments, obviously, because I can't see them. I'm really curious. I can go through the comments after the fact. You get the live chat replay, and I can hover the mouse or tap on them, and I can hear what's going on in the comments. But I'm curious if the comment section, if you guys are all having fun in there, if there's anything going on in the comments, if it's a bummer that I can't interact with you. I'm happy to take the phone calls, but I'm always kind of curious what's being said in the comments section. It's Saturday night. I'm Pete. Who's this?
Hi, Pete. My name is Avery. I'm a fellow visually impaired human from the Bay Area in California.
Avery, thank you for calling tonight. What's going on?
Nothing much. I just had a couple questions as a fellow visually impaired human. But firstly, I just wanted to say that it's really cool that I have somebody else with sight problems that I can kind of look up to. And because you do so many cool things, it's really cool to see somebody like out using a cane and, doing all these really cool things. So just thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for watching and getting some value out of it. I'm really appreciative that people take the time out of their day to check these things out.
No, it's really amazing. So I have maybe two questions. My first question was, what's something that sighted people kind of don't really think about in their day, but it's something that you maybe miss or find really taxing to do without sight?
I miss the ability to do stuff on my own. And I talked to Molly Burke about this a little bit. And she was talking about skiing, and I was talking about surfing. It's really, I don't get to go out and be by myself. I can't just take I can, it's so stressful. If I'm going to walk, there's a bunch of shops that are relatively close to my house within a mile, and I could get myself down there. I could have one of the dogs help me and I can use my cane and I can get down there. But then just getting into, just for an example, I wanted to go get a sub by myself. Like, it's difficult to find the line, to know if there are people in front of me, difficult to know how to interact with the person behind the counter. I don't know if they're paying attention. There's so many social cues that I miss out on, that I have a great time going out with Banana and my friends and being in groups and, you know, filming videos and having people around all the time. But just going out and doing something by myself, like, I can't go for a drive. It's hard to go for a walk. I can't really, you know, go very far by myself. So I miss that quite a bit. And I think a lot of people, and it's not their fault, it's just, you know, they have the eyesight and the ability to do it. I think people very much take that for granted, though, being independent. I'm not nearly as independent as I was or would like to be, I think, at this point.
Oh, definitely. I'm in high school and I have a one-on-one aide that she's amazing. I love her. But she has to sit with me and like help me with a lot of tasks. And most times I'm just like, I wish I could just, you know, have the worksheet or see what's on the whiteboard. And like social interactions are definitely kind of an episode. So yeah, I definitely resonate with that.
And, you know, it's so this is what, and Banana helped me with it when I met her, and she and I have been together over a decade now. But before that, I was very hesitant to want to ask for help. And as a consequence, I made my life very hard. I wasn't comfortable asking people to, you know, do this for me or help me out. And they were happy to do it because we were friends. It wasn't like a big chore. And I had to, it took me a long time to come to grips with that. And, you know, so you have this person that's helping you out in school, and it's amazing. Like, that's, oh my God, like, thank you so much. This, you know, it's making your school life better. You're learning better, and everything about it is great. And you're appreciative for that. I'm speaking for you, but I feel like I understand you. But in the in the other respect, you just wish you could do it yourself. Right. It's two sides of the same coin, super appreciative, but like, oh my God, I just want to do it alone.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of my sighted friends that I used to have in middle school, I knew them for like 8 years or so. So I kind of think I subconsciously masked and like, you know, the eye contact, and I have some usable vision. So I think they tended to forget. And then they would be talking about whatever was over on the other side of the play yard. And I was like, what? So,
yeah, I did the same, except instead of what, I was always like, yeah, that thing. I would pretend, because I didn't want to keep like pointing out the fact. I didn't want them to be like, oh yeah, right, you can't see. I always just tried to fit in as much as I could. And it's, I don't know. I mean, it's not like my life turned out poorly. Like, I think everything worked out great, but I did go through a lot of very difficult times of just hiding my eyesight and feeling like I didn't want people to judge me or think less of me. So I spent a lot of time hiding it. And I'll say I definitely made my life harder than it could have been because I was not willing to accept the help at the time.
Yeah, totally.
What else is going on tonight?
Yeah. So I know that you said earlier that you were in a band, and music is something that I'm really passionate about, and I like it a lot. So I was just wondering, maybe like, what instruments did you play, and like, how did you navigate it? Do you read Braille or sheet music, or like, how do you do it?
So I was the singer because out of all of my natural skills that I have been given in my life, picking up an instrument and playing it was not one of them. But I felt like I've always had a good ear for music. And because I was doing production at radio stations and I was doing a lot of putting together audio pieces ever since the time I was 18, I had the ability to produce music. So I would write lyrics and I would produce the music, but I surrounded myself with some talented musicians, and the band that I was in the early 2000s was called Penthouse J, and it was kind of electro rock. So again, I was good with computers and I was good with production, so I would create a beat and then I would create some synth, and I didn't need a lot of musical talent to do that. There were programs that would create loops and kind of put it together, and then I got together with very talented guitarist and a bass player, and we turned it into actual music. I have a couple guitars on the wall that's probably out of the frame right now, and I practiced, I tried. I really wanted to be a good guitar player. I thought it'd be so cool, but I was just never very good at it. but I'm obviously good with my voice because of voice acting, and I enjoy using my voice. So I sang in that band, and more recently I wrote a new song under my own name, under Pete Gustin, that is released on every platform right now, and the music video is on YouTube. It's called Underestimate Me, and that's a hip-hop song. So there wasn't a lot of musical talent going on there, but I did bring the lyrics and the vocals and the flow and the style to it. So that's I love music, and I wish I could play more, but I'm just not one of those people that can pick up an instrument and play. I stink at it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And your new song, by the way, it's really cool. I again, just like having representation out in the media of like, hey, I can't see as well as you guys, but you know, here I am. Like, that's really cool. So thank you.
My pleasure. Well, thanks for calling tonight. I think we're going a little over an hour. I don't want to cut you off. Is there anything else you want to say? I'm going to grab one more call after you, but is there anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Avery. Appreciate it. This is the Saturday Night Live call-in show. I think I'm going to wrap it up shortly. We're going to take one more call. Hopefully, they're going to bring something awesome to it. I've really appreciated talking to everybody tonight. Last call on the Saturday Night Live call-in show. Who is this?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
Hi.
Hi.
Taiji from New Jersey. How are you?
You sound young, and you're in Jersey. It's very late. What is going on late tonight?
Yes, I am young. I'm 13.
All right. What is going on past 1 a.m. at this point, right? 9:43. Yeah, it's almost 1 o'clock. What's going on?
I just wanted to talk to you because I have this condition called RP. Do you know what RP is?
Yep, retinitis pigmentosa.
Yeah, it's where the cells in my eyes die over time, and I've really been like really sad about it. It just really hit me in like 6th grade when I realized I could go blind one day.
Yeah.
And it's really
RP is I mean, it depends. I have Stargardt's disease, and it's kind of different for everybody, but generally the trajectory of RP is a little faster than Stargardt disease. But I will tell you, and it's going to sound weird, but I'm actually thankful that I got my diagnosis as young as I did. I was told when I was 8 years old that they actually thought it was macular degeneration at the time. But what it did, so you know your eyesight's going to get worse as you get older, and it's kind of a blessing because you know what's in store for you. I've talked to people in life and on this show who, they were a mechanic and they drove their car to work every day, and then all of a sudden they lost their eyesight and they couldn't drive to their job and they couldn't do their job as a mechanic anymore. Knowing that I was going to lose my eyesight, I was always setting myself up for a job that I could do without eyesight. And I took the time that I had my eyesight to learn how to work with a computer, to learn to navigate as best I could through working in a studio and a soundboard and this stuff. So you have this time to prepare yourself. And this is something I'll tell you too, that when I would lay in bed when I was 9, 10, and 11 years old, and I would think about having no eyesight. I didn't know it was going to go that way, but I would fear that it was going that way. I would lay there in a cold sweat and I'd panic because the thought of having eyesight and then not having it was terrifying. But I don't wake up terrified in the morning. It barely even crosses my mind. I think about the fact that I've lost my eyesight only maybe a couple times a day. It just becomes what it is. And it sounds unbelievable, and you might not be able to grasp the concept at this point because it's something that's going to happen to you over time, but your brain will adjust to it, you will adjust to it, and as long as you keep a positive mental attitude and you keep in mind that you want to keep living your life, and as opposed to letting your loss of eyesight get you down, if you want to keep living your life, you can, and you have the time to prepare for it, I think.
Yeah. I just got some very nice friends last year with 7th grade. I got some very nice friends, and I'm really happy that I met them.
Friends are hugely important. People that you can be comfortable being around and letting them know if you need help or when you need help, or that accept you for who you are. Having good friends is a huge help to your life.
Yeah, and people keep telling me to use my blind guy cane, but I'm just so nervous about getting made fun of, and people are like really mean, and I'm just nervous about it, and I'm just nervous. I have good grades in school. Like, I'm getting good grades. I have all A's right now. Just really.
Yeah, the cane was a tough step for me to take too, and I wasn't in school, so I'm not gonna pretend to tell you I know what it's like, using the cane when you're in junior high, middle school, or high school. I didn't have to do that at that time, but I was very nervous because I spent most of my life, not using the blind guy cane, and then I got to a point where I had to use it, and I was really nervous what my friends were going to say, and to their credit, each and every one of them was actually very happy for me that I was taking the step to use it and to be a little bit safer. And it made their lives easier as opposed to them constantly having to give me verbal cues as to what was going on or getting people out of my way. The fact that I had the cane and people around knew that I was blind, it helped. Now, I don't know if it's going to be harder for you in school, but I do know if you got a good group of core friends that can support you, that'll make it easier.
Yeah, they're really nice. They're the best friends I could have asked for.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and I just they just recently started putting these walk signs that talk to me around the city.
Oh, that's cool. Yep.
Yeah.
And have you heard of the OKO app? OKO?
No, I never heard of it.
There's an app that you can download on your phone. I believe it's free, and you can hold it up to crosswalks, and it will tell you when the light is red, and then it will tell you when you can walk as well. It'll speak out loud. It'll tell you when it is safe to walk. It's pretty helpful.
Yeah, I have sight. I'm nearsighted, so I can't see stuff that's far away, and I'm so nervous. I'm sorry. It's I can't see stuff that's far away, and it's a pain.
Yeah, that's how mine progressed. It used to be that when I would wake up in the morning and I was in junior high and high school, I could look at myself in the mirror, but if one of my friends was on the other side of the room or further away, I wouldn't be able to see them at all. And that for me over time, things that were far away were impossible to see, and then that kind of started working in, and I lost. I lost everything. I can no longer see myself in a mirror now, no matter how close I am to it. But it happened over time, and I was able to adjust. And I'm confident that you'll be able to do the same thing.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for calling. I really appreciate everybody who decided to call in tonight. Music was louder than anticipated. Did I scare you as much as I scared me? I scared myself. I was bummed out that the one from last night got deleted, but for everybody who enjoyed it, I enjoyed it with you. I wanted to come back on tonight and do it again. I'd like to do this more often just because I love so much talking to everybody. Normally, I don't have my evenings free, but it's just been me and Steve and Skyler this week, so I've got some time. I might actually try at some point doing a morning call-in show. You like this music? It's just kind of fun, by the way. Like a morning drive call-in show. I could be free from 6:30 to 7:30 Pacific, so 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern time. I might try and do that. To everybody that called tonight on my first ever Saturday night live call-in show, thank you very much. For everybody that watches the videos and comments and shares on these things, thank you for letting me share my life with you. It has been extraordinarily helpful for me to tell these stories and for you guys to accept me for who I am. And for that, I just wanted to say thank you very much. I am going to have to figure out how to end this stream on my own. This is the hardest part. Look at me, I'm playing music, I'm taking calls, talking on the phone. I don't know how to end the darn thing. So I have to walk around all this stuff that's in front of me and get over to that computer and then activate something that's going to stop the stream. Wish me luck. I pulled it off last night, but I still don't know exactly what button I pressed. Hopefully I'll be able to pull it off tonight. It's the Saturday night live call-in show. I don't know if I'll ever be allowed to do it again when Banana's back in town. I don't think she wants me spending my Saturday night with you guys, but I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Let's go figure out if we can end this thing. Oh man, I already break this thing.